Okay, it's June 13th-ish. I think I'm like almost over a month off from when I normally get my salt and cameras out, but I've been so busy I just haven't a chance. But for what I do, what I'm doing, and what I've learned, it doesn't matter. Like the mineral, when you throw your mineral out, it doesn't make animals stay there. It just doesn't. They'll come and hit it when they come through, but they don't intentionally go to it, and they don't change their lifestyle just because there's a mineral lick right here. They just don't. I've done this with numerous times, numerous species: moose, stone sheep, elk, the blacktails. The deer that I find that do sit in one spot for the whole summertime. I don't know how many times I've like basically thrown a camera over my shoulder in a salt lick, thrown it up, and I'll get a lone doe, a doe and her fawn, or a doe and her two fawns, and she will hit that salt all summer, all spring, all summer into the fall, as her young ones grow, and that's where they decided to live for that time of the year. But as far as the bucks go, they're like nomads. They're nomadic. They're always ripping around. And it's a long ways too. And this particular spot right here is where I finally caught my monster buck Zeus in velvet. The first year I finally found where he decided to grow that year, and this is the exact spot. The following year after that, I never got him on this camera once. Not one. Actually, I don't think I even got one deer on this camera once. But you can see all the photos here that I had just the spring before, right? So you can't ever guess or dictate when they're going to come and hit that same trail again the next year. They just don't do it. It's a matter of luck. They might be in the general area, but they just don't use this one trail again. They just decide not to. It's bizarre. It's frustrating. It's just the way it is. But I can't desert the spot because I know that bachelor group frequented this patch one full growth season previous. So I know they know of this trail. They might hit it again. They might not. But obviously if I don't have a camera here, I'm not going to find out, right? So if I have a trail that I know that my monster buck has hit more than a few times in the past, even over a year ago, I have to keep a camera on that trail. I have to, because I don't know. I'm not the one. I can't say he's dead. I can't say he'll never use this trail again, and I can't say he'll never use it. I can't say he is going to use it again. But I know one thing: if I don't have a camera here, I'm not going to find out. And all I need to know is that he's alive. At this stage of the game, that's all I need to know. I just need him on one camera once. So I'm not going to put that much mineral. I'm going to do what I typically do. I got this mineral block from the feed store, and I went back to the same old, my faithful, which is a box of coarse salt. It's the same salt used for curing salmon before you smoke it or pickling or whatever you're doing. I tried some mineral out of a feed bag, different, with selenium, a bunch of stuff in it, meant for horses last year. Didn't really like it, didn't really do much. But this is my go-to. I already learned this for myself a long time ago, is I have good luck with typically one of these and 2 boxes of this, and that's good for the whole growth season and into the fall. So I'm just going to use 1 brick, 1 box. Here's the camera. It's kind of funny. I haven't been right here for quite some time, and I come up and here's the camera that I thought I'd lost sitting here. Who knows, maybe there'll be something on it, I don't know. But anyways, so that's what I'm doing. So this is the first of 3 mineral licks I'm making today. And in my mind, I am specifically making these mineral licks for that monster buck I nicknamed Zues The Moose. Now, did I see him once last fall? No. But did I see any of his bachelor pack last fall? Not his bachelor pack, but I did see 2 of the monster bucks that I normally see come through here during the fall, but they've never been here for antler growth season. So, have I given up on that buck Zeus? I'll never give up on him. Until I know he's absolutely for sure passed on, you don't give up. And in the meantime, there's no way he's the only buck of that class. It's not even possible. So, I am in the back of my mind, I am 100% thinking about him, targeting him. But knowing the genetics in this area, who knows what's coming, right? There's always going to be another monster that size, 2 or 3 or more, and they're always going to be around, they're always going to be alive, and they're always coming. You just don't know when. But if you're not ready for them to come, you're not going to find out, are you? So, there we go. This is all I got to do. That, I'll take this bright blue one and I'll put it down out of the height of land in case a human being walks by. Somewhere, all that white salt that just dropped in the ground, that'll all blend in and the white bright color will be gone real quick. But nobody's ever been on this trail ever since I've been monitoring it for a handful of years anyway. But still, I don't put blue blocks on top of the ground, ever. They stand out, and you don't need people finding your stuff. You're finding your hard work and finding your trail cameras, right? So that's it. That's the first mineral lick of the season, June 13th, and it's 100% meant for Zeus. And I'll be back in a minute to show other ones. So this camera right here, facing this way, has caught one of the best video clips I ever got of the old Zues The Moose. So what I'm going to do here now is, there's a few deer tracks here. I don't know who this is, but there's definitely a couple fresh ones here. And, but I'm not going to put any salt right here because I started a real big salt lick just over that hill, another maybe 100 yards, and I caught him up over the hill here on shell camera I bet I got Zeus on that camera about 20 times. Once was broad daylight and all the rest was 2 in the morning. But he hung out up there a lot more, passed through there, probably, I don't know, 300% more than he passed through this trail right here. I caught him on this camera, I think twice or 3 times. But I caught a fair amount of deer passing through on this little hill right here to get up. So I can't help it. It's where I got one of the best videotapes, trail camera videos of him. So how do you abandon that spot, right? So this camera sitting on the stump right here, it's actually been sitting there now for its 3rd year. I've had a camera on that stump. So what I will do is I'm going to snap all this fireweed off right here in line so it doesn't set off the camera 5 million times. And then I'm going to carry on up over the hill. I got a pile of salt in my backpack, and we'll make the second salt lick I'm going to build specifically with him in mind, and I'll do that next up after I get rid of all this non-camera friendly stuff. You know, it looks like a bit of a job, but it's not. You can grab this stuff and pull it out, and just get rid of the stuff that's in the way. Save your batteries and your SD cards. How cool is that?
Griff didn't notice that.
That was pretty cool. So Sarah and Griff's hiking up here with me, and a little tiny little blacktail fawn about that big just got up right there. He's laying down, hide from us the whole time, and escape. Maybe we'll get him on video in a minute. But anyways, there you go. That's what I'm doing for this spot. A couple branches I could probably still smash out of here. That should do it. We'll see what comes. On to the next one. Then a tree just dumped, I guess, since the last time I was here, and clipped my camera and spun it around that little branch. That was a close one. All right. Okay, so this spot I had, so the summer before last, this particular chunk of ground right here, Zeus hit this patch, I don't know, yet 20 times maybe. And I think once broad daylight, got some crazy footage of him. I'll put it in here, and then the rest of it is at nighttime coming through. So last summer, I put a camera right here, you can't see it, in that tree, and I just hammered the minerals to this spot, and I had two does hit this whole mineral lick the entire summer, the entire fall, not one buck. So yeah, I can't explain it. I don't know what it is about blacktails that make them, they just do not have the same habits. Unless you have farm country or those artificial food plots that people put in for their game, and you got that property to do that, fill your boots. But when you're up in here in these mountains and you're doing it on their rules, there is no repeated habits. There's no usual habits of the day. these monster bucks, they just wake up, these monster mountain black-tailed deer, they wake up, they look around in their bed, and they're like, huh, where should I go tonight? And they go. And I have tracked them through my trail cameras, and I've tracked those suckers go over 7 miles in one night and do a Yui and head all the way back up that same trail, random. So, and then maybe another month and a half later, I've caught a monster buck doing that again in the same trail, a month and a half later. So could you imagine if you're going to use some typical whitetail tactics on that? Could you imagine, oh, I seen him go through this trail, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to wait for him until he comes. And you're going to sit there and you sit there and you sit there and you sit there for sometimes up to 2 months, maybe even 3 months, and he uses the trail at 1 in the morning. Right? So that is why I have so many cameras out, so many different mineral looks out. All I need to do, what the mineral looks do too for me is, if I can hold a doe or two right here at this particular spot, I know they're going to be here in the fall, and then I know that buck is going to come and find them. So that's another benefit to do the mineral licks, even though you aren't seeing any bucks on them. If you got a couple does, good enough. And even one doe, like for the way I hunt and where I hunt, it's been so depleted a game. They're so vast and spread out. I will, like I used one doe one time, I almost had her tame. I kept her on camera. Every time I seen her, I snuck up on her using body language, neutral body language, and I snuck up, walked up casually and sat down with her probably, I don't know, 30 times over the course of a couple years, to the point she didn't even care about me anymore, and I knew I would get a buck off of her eventually, and eventually it paid off, and I got a big buck off of her, and I never saw her again, but it worked, right? So what I'm saying is, I'm just saying, never ever be discouraged. You can't be discouraged, no matter what happens. You can't be discouraged, and you can't quit. You don't quit, ever. So, like I said, I never got a buck on this trail camera spot once, but I maintained the camera. I kept feeding it batteries and SD cards, and I never quit, and I never got one buck on it last summer. And now here I'm doing it again, right? So you just don't know what's going to happen. Zues the Moose could be here right now again, and I don't know it, but I'm going to find out. So you just never, ever, ever quit. I'm going to put 2 of these blocks here today, 2 boxes of coarse salt, and then I'm going to hike way up the mountain to where I know he frequented as well. And do one last, ouch, that hurt. I'm going to do one last lick up there, and then we'll keep hammering along.